Hello everyone. Yes, today I have a talk from Eckhart. I think it's quite new because he talks about many topics of the actual situation and of our actual life situation of all of us. And I really had to cut that into pieces because there's so much content in it. And I will give it to you piece by piece, let's say. Yeah. And the main thing you will learn from his talk today is it's kind of two things. It's that connection to everything. It's about this connection to everything, every material thing, and every, as we would call it, a live thing, like a person, an animal, a plant. And he really wonderfully describes the kind of how you build this connection. It's a reaching of this connection, and it happens often. It happens at intense situations where you feel like having, or not having, but where you feel like you're stepping out of a situation, where you feel like, okay, this is so out of control, so I have to lean back, step back, and just be. It's like when you this is how I would describe it. He describes it differently. Eckhart will describe it in certain examples where it can happen that you all of a sudden are in the middle of a very serious, or a very serious, and there's just a memory coming into my head, a serious moment, and then all of a sudden you're like not there anymore in this discussion or situation, argumentation or whatever, and you all of a sudden just connect to the present moment in another way. You see where you're sitting, you're watching maybe the room, maybe there is something placed on a table that is very interesting, and you watch the details of it. Or if you're outside, or you can look outside through the window, or you watch the trees and how the leaves move in the wind, or you will start connecting to what really is, and disconnect from the stories that are talking about, or that people are talking about at the moment. And then you kind of get very relaxed, and that is really interesting. I don't want to talk too much in the front. I do that later. I keep that for later. Also, what my memory was, I will tell you. It's a very nice example or metaphor of that realization of the present moment with all your senses, with your essence. So now lean back, relax, take that cup of tea, and I have ordered myself a package with cups with wonderful sayings written on it. And there is one that I use right now, and that is saying, that it is your responsibility to put the glitter in your own life. And then it's written in a nice language and with some golden letters for the glitter. So it's really, really nice. And a little heart for the E.Tolle. Yeah. Maybe I will put it in the video. Yeah, I will put it in the video. You will find it. I will hide it on certain spots for you. Okay, now relax and enjoy.
You look around, sky, bird, people, cars, feel the inner body, and you say yes to this moment, not to a story that your mind is inventing about this moment. People confuse that here. When I say yes to what is, people think, okay, then I have to say, okay, I have to accept that I'm a homeless person now, that I have no prospects, that I've thrown away all that I had, or people have taken it away from me, blah, 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 stories. No, that's just a story. I'm ruined, I've known nothing. No, you're not ruined, you have 50 pence in your pocket. That's the reality. I'm ruined is the mental addition to the reality, which is a story. So what is your mental addition to the reality of now? And you'd be amazed what people add to the simplicity of now. The baggage they put onto the simplicity of now with their stories, which sometimes they've carried over from 10 years, 20 years, 30 years of stories, inflicted on the now, or whoever you're meeting in the now, or what is happening in the now, and people carry that baggage, and life gets heavier and heavier. No, what do you need a story for? Come to the simplicity of this moment, just this, and then it's fine. So we are stepping out of story by accepting the simplicity of this moment, and that means you become aligned with the power of life itself, which is not stupid, which is because it's intelligence itself. It's it out of it, the entire universe comes out of it. And you're aligned with that, and then suddenly even the external life flows with much greater ease. But that's not why you're doing it. It's not a means to an end. It's an end in itself. Surrender to the present moment as it is. If it's unpleasant, you don't need stories, but there is such a thing as unpleasantness, because you could be cold and hungry. I experienced a short time of not having a home and sitting around on park benches. Fortunately, I was already comfortable with the present moment, so it was extremely enjoyable. Something that other people might have said, it's a dreadful experience. So you have always the two levels in you. The level of the person who goes about its business, but it's very easy to get trapped in that dimension only. So you're going to an important meeting, let's say, okay, you've graduated from being homeless, now you got a good job. You're going to an important meeting, traveling, and you're talking to the lawyers about the contracts and this and that. There's a big project happening, it's all so important, and you get so absorbed in that everything becomes absolutely important. What is relative only becomes absolute. You get lost in the world. And very soon you're in a state of resistance because you need to get there, but the contract hasn't been done yet and there's a time limit. Don't you know you should get yourself together? And, everybody, these days, everything is deadline. There's never anything that people ask me to do that doesn't have a deadline, but it has to be done by Monday, tomorrow, next week. But it has to be ready by, we have deadlines. Most deadlines I don't meet, so people don't even expect deadlines to be met anymore. When they tell me we have a deadline, they already know. And I suspect now they give me false deadlines. If they need it in 4 months' time, they say, and need it in 2 weeks. So the world, which is the human mind, and the things of the world can absorb you totally. So is it possible for you to always come back into the other dimension? And that is a beautiful practice. So you're sitting in the office, this person is talking, that person is talking, or you're driving somewhere, the important meeting, and there's a moment when you feel your inner body. There's a moment when you look up at this tree. There's a moment when you breathe, take one conscious breath. There's a moment when you step out of that stream of the world into now. And that becomes so enjoyable that more and more often that dimension is there in your life. Stepping out of the story. And there you are in the lawyer's office discussing divorce proceedings with your husband or wife. And you're looking out of the window and see there's a beautiful tree, but you don't even call it a beautiful tree, you just see. And there's not only a tree, you can feel the very presence in which the tree arises. And the lawyer is talking about this or that, and you look, ah. And then you look back to the lawyer and say, okay, do what you have to do. And then you look back at, take a conscious breath. You're continuously stepping out of the stream that wants to absorb your attention completely into the space of now. So you're bringing space into your life. You're bringing space into your life also by accepting, this is surrender, accepting what is brings space, because by saying yes to what arises in the present moment, you become the space for it, which you already are, but didn't know, couldn't feel it, couldn't know that you are the space for the world. By saying yes to the things that arise now, you become powerful, but not in the sense of ego power, not powerful over somebody or something else, but in the sense that the power of life itself is now able to fully flow through you. The power of consciousness itself, because we have two movements in this world, in a human being. One is the outgoing movement into form that has its place. In everybody, that's the outgoing movement that wants to strengthen and preserve the form of me. And there's nothing wrong with that if you know also the other dimension, which goes the opposite way. It's the need to be connected to the formless vastness of being that is also in you, that is essentially who you are. So there is this, every human life needs to be a balance between form and the depths of formlessness. Become free of the illusion that the conditions of the world, whatever happens to you, that they are here to satisfy you. That things should always go the way you want them to go. The conditions are here to bring me fulfillment. That's a big delusion. Conditions are here to challenge you, to frustrate you, and to wake you up. So instead of seeking better and better conditions, you accept the condition of this moment. And paradoxically, that's when very quickly even the outer conditions that are not all that important improve, because power of life moves through you fully now. So that's a practice The practice of surrender, in which you become very effective. You don't become ineffective through surrender, which is a misconception. Surrender says, right, this is what is, and I might as well say yes to it. I'm verbalizing it, but true surrender, there's no words. It's just, you look at the what is, you perceive, you look, you become the presence. There's a consciousness. You're aware of yourself as consciousness. That's the little secret of self-realization. Space, stillness, consciousness. And you can feel is not the right word, there is no right word. In the background of all that happens, you can feel yourself as the presence in which it happens. So the question is, can you, at this moment, be aware not only of all the things that are taking place right here, externally and internally, but can you also be aware of yourself as the awareness in which these things happen, which is not a thought, nothing to do with thinking. It's a sensing of an aliveness in the background of things happening in the foreground. And when I say things happening, that includes thought, thinking. Thinking happens in the foreground. But when you're aware of the background as your very own presence, I say your own because it is essentially who you are. It is being. It is the I am, which is timeless. The timeless sense of being in the background. I am, being. I am and being are the same word. To be, I am. It is being. Can you sense the very being that you are, and on that level you are one with all beings? This is the level of non-differentiation. And it is that level from where true love comes, true compassion comes, only when you can feel yourself as the underlying I am presence. Now, you can only do it now, because it is now. It is the now in essence. So that's where freedom lies. Freedom from conditions. Conditions will carry on, coming and going, some good, some bad. And that's also where creativity comes in, because through that, the very intelligence that is the I am may manifest through you. That's secondary thing. What it manifests, I don't know. It varies from person to person. What does not vary from person to person is that which underlies the person. That is where the oneness is of all beings. And from there, when you sense that, you go to an ancient forest and sense the sacredness of the forest in yourself, the very presence that you are, you feel is the very same beingness that is the life in the trees. You feel the life, the one life, because you are the one life. And in whatever manifestation you see the one life, it manifests in billions of forms. In whatever manifestation you see the one life, you recognize it as yourself. And only then can you sense the essence of the forest, or the essence of an animal, or the essence of another human being. And only then is there true connection, and more than connection, a realization of oneness. And it's only then that humans are no longer compelled to fight each other continuously.
Thank you so much, Eckhart. I love your all your examples and all these wonderful. It's so wonderful how you connect, how he connects. I'm almost like talking to him here, as if he would listen to this. But it reaches him. It's energy. We are all connected, and whatever I'm sending out to him, he gets it. So that's totally correct what I do here. Okay, I love the way that he brings in examples, and then he at the same time makes little exercises out of it. Yeah, it's wonderful. I love that. And I must agree that kind of I do the same thing here with you, right? You must probably also say, well, you're doing the same thing. I'm learning, probably. It's a kind of unconscious learning here, or an unconscious connection of myself, my being, with Eckhart's being that is going on there. If I listen so much to his talks and then I add my thoughts, and of course it gets like a bidirectional impulse giving talk. Yeah, it's really interesting what comes through me when I have just listened to Eckhart's talks, and what my intuition or my channel to all that makes out of it, mixed by my identity, mixed with my identity. Yeah, it's interesting. And so I wanted to tell you that funny story that just came in my mind in the beginning. And that was what it's like when, do you remember as you were in school and you had that moments where with your friend you were sitting on the what's the name? Oh my goodness. In the class, you were sitting in the class on the table, huh? And all of a sudden one of you started laughing about something, and then the other one also starts laughing, but there's no reason for laughing, but you are just laughing because it's so quiet and everybody's listening and it's so serious, and you feel like it's absurd, you have to laugh. Do you know that feeling? Isn't that crazy? And this is for me exactly showing, or the same thing that Eckhart is explaining, where you disconnect to a certain atmosphere. That's what you actually do. You disconnect to a generated atmosphere that is kind of artificial. Yeah, I got that now. Oh my goodness, I'm so crazy about myself, how I make up things. All of a sudden it makes like bling, bling, bling. Okay. Yeah, it's like you disconnect from that artificial thing or situation or behavior or whatever that is going on, and you connect to that reality of the present moment, which has nothing to do with that artificial program that is running. It's like a hologram running there, and you are realizing, oh, this over there is a hologram, but I'm here in the reality now, and the reality is that it's funny. It could be, life is funny, or I could even laugh. It's, well, in that moment where that happens in your childhood, or even now, maybe it sometimes happens. To be honest, it sometimes happens to me when people talk about serious things, like death, the death of someone, or in a very heavy, depressed way. Then I get automatically that impulse of sending out signals of the opposite feeling. And that, and that is joy of life, joy of what is. And yes, death is losing someone, yes, it is. And and you can, of course, and it's important to connect to that, let's say that feeling of loss, having lost someone, having lost a future with someone, having lost ideas, plans, moments of being with someone. In a way, in a certain way. And then you will experience, if you have that strong loss, I'm sure you will be able to reconnect to that person on a spiritual way, that you all of a sudden, when you're doing something that you must think of this person being here, and also saying something certain special that they used to say, and so you will feel that this person is not gone. Just the materialization, body form that you can touch is gone, but the energy field, the energy pattern of the information pattern of this person is still there and still alive. It's crazy. I don't know what I did not plan on talking about this. I didn't know that this would come up, because honestly, I have not yet lost a person that was very, very... No, I could not say that. That's not true. It's not true. I had that with my granddad, as he died. For many, many years, in certain moments, he was just there. His pattern was there, and still is, and my grandma's too, but my granddad even more. He was, but my grandmom too. her wonderful sentences, they always, they are inside of me still. They come up when it's time that they are useful, and that they should be there, and they are there, and that's really nice. I could almost cry now. It touches me really. Okay, it did not meant to happen this way. But this is really nice. It's wonderful if you realize that, and also the crying and the emotions coming. It's wonderful. Enjoy them. I love when I get that emotional feeling inside of me. As I had times where I pushed it away, I didn't want to have it. But now, as I would say, I woke up, or no, now I wouldn't say that. I learned this, and also from my experience. Yeah, I must agree. Yeah, it is from that moment of awakening where I realized that my emotion is a huge gift, and it's a wonderful gift that is so, it's so nice to experience emotion. I mean, if it happens to you, if it occurs, try to go really into it and give it room, give room to emotion. Give room to that emotion that wants to come through you. It's such a wonderful thing. It vibrates completely through your body, and you feel yourself so intense. You feel your whole existence of this materialization in a very intense way. And then it enlightens you. It makes you so more lightful, because emotion, what does it do? It brings your body in motion and vibrates out stuck energy. Things you did not want to let go, things you were holding on to. That's what crying is there for too. And also laughing, crying, all these emotions, they make all the holding onto things go away, letting go, that they can go out of your system and continue as another wave in the atmosphere. Yeah, that's what emotion is there for. So I learned to really love it. I love crying. I love laughing too, of course. Both of it. Yeah. That was a funny loop here. An interesting loop. Well, Eckhart's talk was really serious, I must admit. And yes, I cut it there where I stopped it. But there was even more talk to it, and that was really going deeper and deeper into our actual situation with all this. Yeah, there is quite some aggression and problems, and even I with my, let's say, ex-boyfriend that I'm still living with in the same apartment. I mean, yeah, I can tell that it's challenging. I'm challenged in this life with relationship topics, for sure. Especially with the father of my children. Before it didn't. Well, it hit me not in a strong way, but not the same way. It's a different situation. No? It's you can imagine. This is also only because of all that experiences and coaching seminars and all this that made so much of change inside of me and made me understand so many things that I kind of started to realize how wrong a lot of things go, and then it made me frustrated that how could this be? How can such people that are so unconscious lead a country or lead our society? to which direction does it, is it led, But yeah, I mean, I was unconscious for many, many years, so I do know how it is to be unconscious and to become conscious. No one can tell you when when this kind of awakening moment in your life will happen. No one can predict that. It happens to everyone at a different time, and maybe even only when you're laying on your last hour in the bed where you're gonna die. Could be happening. I have people telling me, I don't want to awaken now. I want to have it just before I leave this life. Because they know that it means that they would probably live a different life, and they would have to, but it's not a have to, and that's what they don't understand, but they are afraid of it, of course. It's frightening to not knowing what comes, what is next. And that anxiety about not knowing what the future brings or what the future will be like keeps many people away from that normal process of awakening. It's, to me, I understand it as a normal process that we are all going through, but we can more or less block it. Yeah, and that's our decision. Yeah, at a certain point, of course, because I've never known that there is something like that, like awakening, or I completely was not sensing that or knowing anything about this. Yeah, so that was really a nice talk and a interesting inspiration that came through me here this time, I don't know how you find that. For me it was a little bit out of place. It feels a little bit like that, but I love to give you all that is coming through me, and I know that we all hear what we, in this moment where we hear something, we were meant to hear it. And that's why I continue to let this come, what wants to come and what wants to flow through me and come out as words that you are capable of hearing on a YouTube channel. Right? Okay, so now I wish you a wonderful evening, night, day, and all times, in all lengths and shorts, like seconds, minutes, hours, And breathe, relax, and enjoy. And connect as often as you can during the day, and reset yourself. It's like a reset. And then don't forget who you are. Yes, that lottery win in your life and all the others around you as well. You are the lottery win for you and for the others. And that's all you have to know. And all you have to care about, and all you have to think about. Yeah. And if you would like to have this gift of a wonderful free coaching session, I'm so excited, then go ahead, look me up in Instagram or Facebook. write me a text message in the messenger, and then we make up a meeting time. I send you a Zoom call for it, and then we see each other, hear each other, connect to each other. Isn't that wonderful? And even just for 1 to 2 hours. But it will change your life and mine too. Yes.